The first problem that you have when you have some type of an addiction, and the Republican Party has a big government and a spending addiction, is what? Is to admit that you have a problem. And the campaign is an admittance of that my party has a problem, and it's providing solutions. We're trying to provide a solution to those problems. Republicans have to be better than their economic plans just being cutting taxes. So shifting over to the economy and taxes, whenever you ask a Republican candidate or you ask the Republican Party, how do we fix the economy, all you hear is cut taxes. Now, I'm all for cutting taxes, but you can't just cut taxes and continue to spend at the rate that they are, and continue to grow the size of government, and continue to give more and more power and control to the federal government at the same time. That's not an economic plan. That's why that message has fallen on deaf ears. It doesn't work anymore. It's unsustainable to cut taxes and continue this growth, pump money into the economy. That brings us to quantitative easing. I don't know if a lot of people know what quantitative easing is, but basically what it is the Federal Reserve, our central bank, pumps money into the economy. What they do is they buy up bank debt and bonds. Some of those are not very good, bank debt and bonds. They buy a dollar for a dollar bonds that they can maybe turn around and sell for a quarter on the dollar. And they pump billions of dollars into the economy. They give those funds to the bank, and what does that do? It devalues the value of our dollar. So if you're on a fixed income, you're retired, or you're coming close to retirement, or if you're young and worried about retiring one day, we have to be concerned that the government, to band-aid the problem, is just pumping more money into the economy, which is devaluing the dollar. It's eliminating your purchasing power. It's making it far more difficult for you to retire the way that you thought you were going to retire when you worked all those years to save that money. And when you're working currently, when you're young, and you're working, you have many years left, you have 10, 20, 30, 40 years until retirement, and your country is running a deficit that's going to far exceed 17 trillion, 18 trillion, 19 trillion. We don't know where the end is, if there is one. And at the same time, they're devaluing the hard-earned money that you're working for. It essentially ends up being nothing more or nothing less than a tax. So as Republicans, we can't out of one side of our mouth say that we oppose tax increases, and then out of the other side support policies that devalue the dollars. It's essentially the same thing, a tax. And Susan Brooks has not done anything, has not gone to Congress and been one of those voices to fight against the practice of quantitative easing, to rein in the Federal Reserve, and to actually find a real solution to our problems, not just pumping more money into the economy that's printed out of thin air. That's not an economic policy.